Welcome back to another data-driven explainer. Today, we're jumping right into one of the most misunderstood yet completely fascinating B-school admissions processes in all of India. We are talking about SPJIMR's postgraduate diploma in management. Now, if you are absolutely tired of hearing that your entire career hinges on just one stressful make-or-break entrance exam score, well, you're in the exact right place. We're going to decode the exact mechanics behind how SPJIMR actually selects its future business leaders. Right off the bat, let's look at a shocking reality that blindsides literally thousands of candidates every single year. Imagine this. Candidate A gets a massive 99.5 percentile on the CAT exam, but gets a rejection letter. Meanwhile, candidate B, sitting at an 85 percentile, gets an acceptance. Sounds crazy, right? Well, we are going to completely shatter the myth that a high test score guarantees you a seat and show you exactly why this happens by design. Okay, let's dive right into this roadmap. First, we'll cover the 85 percentile reality, then break down Phase 1 profile-based calls and Phase 2 score-based calls. After that, we'll navigate the specialization trap, master application Form A, and finally, prep for winning that final interview. Section 1, the 85 percentile reality and the overarching architecture. To actually understand how that 85 percentile candidate beat the 99.5 percentiler, we have to look at the two-track model. SPJIMR evaluates applicants totally differently than the IIMs by running two distinct admission phases. So Phase 1 is profile-based. That means they actually shortlist candidates before the CAT results are even declared. Then, Phase 2 is score-based, happening after the results are out. And here is something really absolutely crucial. SPJIMR has zero caste-based reservations. Admissions are strictly 100% based on open merit. They aggressively reward profile strength, academic diversity, and gender diversity. Section 2, Phase 1 Profile-Based Calls, your golden route. This brings us directly to the safe zones. Your past academics are the main engine here. For general engineer males, or GEMs, the golden rule is the 90-90-80 benchmark. That means you need 90% in your 10th and 12th grade and 80% in graduation. But for general female and non-engineer applicants, there's a slight diversity advantage. You're looking at needing roughly 85, 85, and 80 to comfortably hit that exact same safe zone. Now, if you successfully secure a Phase 1 profile-based call thanks to those stellar past academics, your CAT or GMAT score suddenly becomes just a qualifying filter. Nothing more. And that magic number? It's just 85. You literally only need an 85 overall percentile to clear the hurdle and secure your seat. It completely takes the pressure off scoring a 99. But hold on, there is a massive drop here. You can't just ace one section and totally bomb another. You absolutely must clear the 75th percentile in all three sections: VARC, DILR, and QA. The data shows us that missing a sectional cutoff by even 0.01 percentile will disqualify you entirely from Phase 1, and that's regardless of how incredible your past profile is. So what if your past academics are just average? Section 3, Phase 2 Score-Based Calls, your lifeline. In Phase 2, the weightage completely flips. Your CAT score now makes up about 60 to 70% of the shortlist criteria. Notice how the safe percentiles just absolutely skyrocket here? General engineer males, you now need a 99.0 to 99.5 percentile or even higher. General females and non-engineers have a slightly lower threshold, generally needing a 97.0 to 98.5 percentile to trigger that Phase 2 call. So, this loops us back to our original mystery. If Phase 2 is totally score-based, why on earth do so many 99-plus percentile scores still get rejected at this stage? Well, there's a hidden trapdoor that a lot of high scorers completely ignore. The answer is what's known as the hygiene factor. Basically, SPJIMR runs a strict consistency check on you. If you have below 70% in your 10th or 12th grade, below 60% in graduation, or unjustified gap years extending beyond 2 years, the system is just going to filter you out. It honestly doesn't matter if you scored a 99.9 percentile on the CAT. If you fail this hygiene check, you're out. Section 4, the specialization trap. Choose wisely. So SPJIMR requires you to choose a specialization right on your application form: finance, marketing, operations, or information management. And your profile must perfectly align with this choice, or it's an instant rejection. Finance heavily favors candidates with CA, CFA, or FRM qualifications. Marketing, they're looking for versatility, extracurriculars, and top-notch communication skills. Now, for finance and marketing, about 25% of their seats are actually allocated to freshers. But operations favors engineers with supply chain work experience, and information management specifically hunts for IT and analytics backgrounds. Listen closely, especially if you're a fresher. Operations and information management are probably not for you. The data gives us a harsh reality check. The average work experience for operations is a whopping 30 months. In recent years, only a single fresher was admitted to operations, and they were literally a city topper. So if you have zero work experience, targeting these two tracks is basically a direct path to the rejection pile. Section 5, Mastering Application Form A. Let's engineer your score. Your application form carries immense weight, especially for those Phase 1 calls we talked about. When detailing your work experience and achievements, you have to use a show, don't tell approach. Step 1, clearly state your role. Simple enough. But Step 2 is where the winners separate themselves. Show quantifiable impact and scale. Don't just say, oh, I participated in a debate. Say, competed against 150 teams and secured top 3. That's the stuff. Finally, Step 3, you absolutely must have written proof. Trophies without certificates, they simply aren't considered. Then, there's the versatility section, where you fill out up to 5 activities. Now, this section is manually graded by the admissions team, and it strongly influences Phase 1 calls. Authenticity and depth matter way more here than pretending to be an absolute expert at every hobby under the sun. Highlight leadership, cross-disciplinary projects, and social impact, like NGO work, to really boost your diversity score. Make it authentic. Section 6, winning the final interview. Time to seal the deal. Okay, so you've engineered your profile, you survived the shortlists, and now you're in the room. SPJIMR uses 2 group interviews. GI1 tests your technical knowledge and your fit for that specialization you chose. But GI2? GI2 is completely different. It tests your values, ethics, and your adversity quotient. They are going to present you with ethical dilemmas specifically to test your humility. And this is exactly where so many arrogant high scores fail, because SPJIMR is deadly serious about finding candidates who fit their socially responsible culture. And this brilliantly illustrates the final reality of the whole process. Just look at the final merit list weightage. The interview performance accounts for 40 to 50% of your final score. Academics and work experience make up another 35 to 45%. And your CAT or GMAT score? It shrinks to a mere 10 to 15% at the finish line. Basically, the interview is everything. So here is a final tactical tip for that interview room, the 60 to 80-second rule. When they ask you to tell me about yourself, keep your pitch tightly structured and strictly between 60 and 80 seconds. Depth matters much more than breadth here. Don't give them your entire life story from birth. Just cover your background, academics, relevant work experience, and maybe one unique interest. And for sure, practice this in mock interviews, under pressure before the real thing. We're going to leave you with this thought, which really sums up SPJIMR's core philosophy. Managerial potential is not created by test-taking ability alone. It's time to stop obsessing exclusively over your percentiles and start actually building a compelling story. So take a hard look at your own profile right now. Are you just a test score, or are you a future manager? Thank you so much for joining us on this explainer, and we'll catch you in the next one.